course, it be today. It's happened a couple of times.
Yeah, it says we're live on there on my screen anyway.
Yes, we're live now.
All right. The meeting will now come to order. Welcome to the December 15th, 2020 meeting of the Durham County Board of Equalization and Review. My name is David Smith and I am the chair of the board. I would like to start by acknowledging that we're conducting this meeting using a remote electronic platform as permitted by Session Law 2020-3. The Board of Equalization and Review is a quasi-judicial body that is governed by the North Carolina General Statutes. The board conducts evidentiary hearings on appeals from appraised real and personal property tax valuations. Today's meeting will proceed much like an in-person meeting of the Board of Equalization and Review. On the screen, you will see the members of the Board of Equalization and Review. Additionally, tax staff and representatives from the county attorney's offices may be present in the remote meeting. Appellants and their witnesses, if any, were required to register in advance and are also attending the remote meeting. When a case is called for its hearing, speakers will be prompted within the remote platform so their video can be seen. The chair will swear in applicants and witnesses at the beginning of each case. Staff will present each case and applicants will then provide their evidence. Control of the presentation and screen sharing will remain with tax staff. Today's meeting is being broadcast live on the county's YouTube site, and a link to this broadcast is on the website for the Board of Equalization and Review. Before we begin the evidentiary hearings on today's agenda, I would like to provide some important information about the steps taken to ensure that each party's due process rights are protected as we proceed in this remote platform. Each applicant on today's agenda was notified that this meeting would be conducted using a remote electronic platform. During registration, every applicant on today's agenda consented to the board conducting the evidentiary hearing using this remote platform. We will also confirm today at the start of each evidentiary hearing that the participants in the evidentiary hearing consent to the matter proceeding in this remote platform. If there was any objection to a matter proceeding in this remote platform, the case will be continued. Notice of today's meeting was provided by publishing notice in the newspaper and by mail to the applicant. The newspaper notices for today's meeting contained information on how the public can access the remote meeting as the meeting occurs. These notices also contain information about the registration requirement for the meeting, along with information about how to register. All individuals participating in today's evidentiary hearings were also required to submit a copy of any presentation, document, exhibit, or other material that they wish to submit at the evidentiary hearing prior to today's meeting. No new documents will be submitted during today's meeting. All decisions of this board are subject to appeal to the North Carolina Property Tax Commission. You know, as I'm reading this for the last time, not all of our decisions aren't penalties aren't appealable, are they, Sterling?
As in we've seen recently and on the news, you can appeal just about to any point. So
yeah, I didn't think that penalties were appealable.
Oh, the penalties. Oh, no, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think they were appealable. So anyway, that's kind of our point. Okay, all right. Well, let's get started. First thing we have is the consent agenda. That's items 1 through 3. Can I get a motion regarding the consent agenda?
So move to approve as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? It carries. Okay, Sheila, do we have anybody waiting?
No, no one's waiting.
No one's waiting. Okay, well, we'll give them 3 more minutes.
Okay.
So I think we were talking about Jeanette's tree when we last got off. It's a nice tree.
Fine.
It's an artificial week a few years ago. Decided to go for artificial too because we were leaving town every other Christmas, and having a real one is a little scary, I think, because you have to remember to water it.
Yep.
And then you clean up behind it. Yeah. But yeah, we haven't had a real tree in 30 years.
You haven't? Well, the best thing about it is the lights are already on it, so I don't have to switch the lights. I hate doing that.
Oh yeah, yeah. You just take it and lift it up, and it's already lit, and everything's good. You can put some additional decoration on it. That's about it. But when we were little, we used to go into the woods and cut down cedar trees and bring them back until my mother decided we had enough money to buy a $3 Christmas tree for real. You know, so we got our first Christmas tree. We were probably 10 years old before we had a quote unquote fir, you know, that type of tree. So we have been used to cedar trees and that wonderful cedar smell.
Yeah, but they tear your hands up putting all the stuff on them. Yeah, we used to do the same thing. My grandfather had a farm.
Poor, we had tough hands.
My grandfather had a farm. We'd go out and chop down cedars, or we'd sometimes find some nice pine trees. But yeah, we do that for years.
Whichever was the prettiest you could find, that's what we used. And my dad would make us, all right, get up and go get a tree. Well, why can't you get up and go get a tree? You better bring back one that we can use.
You said that to your dad?
No, my dad said that to us. You know?
So he wouldn't go, he would just make you all go?
Yeah, by the time we got 8, 9 years old, heck, you got to remember the woods was right at the edge of the yard. You know, it wasn't like we had to drive somewhere.
Yeah.
And we step over in them woods and we search, and I declare it seemed like it took all day. And of course it did not, but that's the way it seemed to us. And we would always bring back one that he would be satisfied with. You know? Because I was the oldest, so if I was 10, 11, that means my youngest was 8, 9. It was 4 of us, and we were like 1 year apart, 10, 9, 8, 7, like that. I was the oldest. I had my birthday, and then everybody's birthday came progressively after that. So after the last one's birthday, we were all 1 year apart. So my mom had four children. If you don't count the initial infection, then she probably had 4 children within 4 years.
Oh boy. Ooh, that sounds like a lot of work, a lot of busy time there.
3 years, actually 3 years and some months.
I got
4 years if you don't.
I got that it's 10 after, so let's hear the first case. Sheila, you still don't have anybody waiting?
Sorry, no one's waiting.
No one's waiting. Okay, all right. Albert, I think you're on for the first one. I see you're here. Let's get you sworn in. Albert, you got to unmute and turn your screen on.
I just asked him to unmute.
Okay. There he is. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and position, please.
My name is Albert Amonte. I'm a Durham County tax appraisal.
All right. And tell me about this property that's been appealed.
So this parcel is parcel 221862. This parcel was actually purchased December 2018 for $348,000, and we currently have it listed for $335,022. I believe the taxpayer is appealing because they believe our value is not accurate because they have the base, model, which is the Abbeville. So I did look at his comps that he provided, and I actually put up some of his comps on my comps. With the comps provided, I didn't see any reason to make any adjustment to the value because when you look at its price per square foot, we have the same finished area, which is the same square foot, the same year. The acreage is, pretty much almost the same. And then those who actually bought their house later on actually purchased it higher, and we have a value for $335,000. All the comps that I provided were the same. They were similar. They were all two, car garages, just like the subject. And with that, I didn't see any reason why to make any adjustment to the value. So I therefore recommend the board to uphold the county's value of $335,022.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Any discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion on number 4.
I make a motion, we uphold the county's value at $335,200.
Do I have a second?
22.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, it carries. Sheila, do we have anybody for on waiting?
No, nobody's waiting.
Okay, well, I guess we'll take a 6-minute break and come back, and hopefully somebody will be there or not. Okay, see y'all in a minute. All right, it's 10:20. Sheila, do we have anybody waiting?
No, nobody but staff.
All right, well, I guess we'll give them a few more minutes.
My appeal is going to withdraw. Well, they withdrew this morning. If you want.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we can go ahead and hear that one then. Let's get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
State your name and position, please.
Jack Streeter with the Durham County Tax Office. I'm a commercial appraiser.
Okay. And you say this one has been withdrawn?
Yeah. Yes, sir. He emailed this morning, and we went over some of the information that I had, sales and income approach, and he states that he doesn't disagree, and he wanted to know if he can withdraw. So I told him.
Is he withdrawing, Jack, or is he accepting the value that you have on it?
He withdrew. He withdrew, but he doesn't. There was no change. There was no
okay.
change.
All right.
And this was that one on 15501 that had the extra land and all that. So,
well, this one 155. It was the Comfort Inn on 15501. Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't have any extra land that we didn't discuss any land issue.
I looked at it briefly. Wasn't this the one there was some discussion about? There was like a pad that they had that they were worried about being double taxed on, or was that a different one I'm remembering?
I think this is a different one. He didn't give me much of any information at all.
I lost your voice there for a minute, Jack.
But once we discussed it a little bit, and we discussed it some this morning, and he decided to withdraw.
Okay. All right. Then I will accept a motion on number 6.
I move that we accept the county's value.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. All right. Let's see. Robin, have you heard anything from Magnolia LLC?
No, he hasn't responded. I emailed him a few times and I have called him, but he doesn't respond.
All they ever did was send in the appeal, and you haven't heard anything else
And
back
that's
from
it.
him.
Yes.
All right. Let me go and get you sworn in too then.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name and position, please.
Robin Smith, Durham County Real Property Appraiser.
All right. And you just said you haven't had any contact with them at all since
At all. No,
called or did anything else.
no.
Okay. Well, let's at least look at this one then.
Okay. It's located in Magnolia Creek subdivision, 1111 Bridgewater Drive. It's a vacant lot with 0.130 acres. Owner's opinion value $25,500. The tax office value is $56,500. The owner, VK Magnolia, is receiving the builder's inventory exemption. The market value stayed the same, but the owner is paying taxes on a value of $1,331. That's $16.56 in taxes. Recommendation is to uphold a tax value of $56,500.
So that's all he's paying. What will happen? Will this go up to 56.5 once the property's sold to somebody else?
Yes, once he sell it, it goes, the value goes back to the $56,500.
That's probably why you didn't hear from him. It doesn't really matter to him, does it?
Right.
Right.
All right. Any questions from the board on number 5? Then I will entertain a motion.
So move to accept county's value as presented.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll take another break till 10:45. So we'll see you all back in about 20 minutes.
think Mr. Williams is having a shower in his workroom.
Okay. Sounds like a waterfall.
Yep.
Well, I knew it was water falling from somewhere.
Don't worry about it.
Sheila, you have anybody waiting?
No, nobody's waiting.
Okay, well, we'll give them 5 more minutes.
Okay.
And Starlene, we were talking earlier about, I guess we're all up for reappointment, right? Starlene, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I had to find the Zoom screen.
Okay.
So didn't somebody, aren't we one short now? Are we one short?
Somebody's an alternate. It's either Wendell or
should be me.
You're
Yes,
an alternate.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then,
hopefully we get him as a full member.
right. Yeah.
And then
because somebody left last year.
Yeah.
John Perry left.
Yeah. And then Jeanette was, I don't know why Wendell was never made a full member. And, you know, we have the authority to pick 2 alternates, but I don't think we need to. We usually do that if it's going to be really busy. But, you know, I guess that's something we could look into after the reappointments.
Yeah, and we are hoping that this upcoming appeal season will have fewer appeals than this season, which was, we went from 6,019 to 620 to hopefully maybe 400 or less in 21. And then of course, 22, we should be down to nobody. You know, just maybe some business, personal property. We're always going to have that, I guess. And then a few of the commercial people who are looking at their values if something happens in a particular industry, maybe. Hopefully we won't have as many as we had this year, with 600 being 10% of last year. And then, so if we get, say, 400, we'll be at, but that would be 65% of what we had this year. So.
Well, you know, we've had pretty good attendance. It hadn't been a problem getting all 5 board members here, so I don't really know that we need to do any alternates. We had that done during the 2019 when we had new.
Yeah, the reval year.
But because we'll probably be meeting once a month at the most, I would think, over the next couple of years.
Okay. Well, if you all have something in particular once we end today that you want me to research or find out about, just let me know. Just let me know, because we probably do not need alternates, especially if you all feel that way about it. And everybody is willing to participate when we have them. And if we're anticipating a smaller appeal season, then I would think that that would be okay to not have the alternates.
Yeah, I don't think we need them, but you know, if it becomes a problem later, we can always appoint them then.
Yeah, okay then, that'll work. Okay. Now, who needs to be reappointed this year?
I think all of us.
All of you, okay.
Yeah.
Don't we have to do that every year?
Yeah, every year.
Okay, so do you want me to, what do you want me to do? Draft a letter to the commissioners?
I guess whatever's been done in the past, and in my understanding is each commissioner appoints a person.
Right, right. Okay, so I will talk with Kim and see where we need to go with that and see what she what suggestions she has, because Kim's very good at this. So we'll get Kim's input on it, and then I'll send you all out an email on the BER email address.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think they do it till January. Well, I'm not sure when they do it, but anyway. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Kim's an expert on this. She knows it back and forth. So we'll find out.
Okay. All right.
We got new commissioners coming on as well.
Right.
Yes.
Right. 2 new commissioners.
They may not even be familiar with it. So we'll get with Kim and find out, and I'll email you all.
Okay. And you know, I guess we all need to let him know if anybody that doesn't want to be reappointed. Okay.
Now,
All right.
don't you pop up and say anything now.
You know, not for nothing, but I am really liking the Zoom format, and I realized that it wouldn't work, you know, for every case going forward, but it is, it's for those who might opt to do is, I mean, I'm wondering if we can incorporate this going forward, because it does make the whole part of my day that I have to devote to it, it shears off a good, 45 minutes that just for transport and parking and, all that stuff. So I don't know how my other board members feel about it, but I thought I'd throw in my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Plus, if we've got 10 minutes to kill, like we did, you can go do something.
Exactly. Exactly. It's been huge.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should. Yeah. I think it should be our standard.
I mean, is this easier or harder for the county, Starlin? Like, I don't know if there's extra cost involved to do this.
No. We, as the county staff, are loving it also.
Okay.
Yeah. And what I'll do is I'll contact the county attorney. I'll get with Brian and I'll find out what he says. And then I'll send you all the email. I'll do that this afternoon too. When we get off, I'll contact Brian this afternoon and tell him how you all are feeling about it and see what he said. Because if we can, even if we come out of the statewide restrictions, we can have, say, maybe a certain set of days for those who do not want to do the Zoom. We just set them off. And everyone else who doesn't mind doing the Zoom, because I would say that the appellants would also appreciate this more than having to come find parking, sitting there for an amount of time that we don't know what's going to happen prior to you getting to your hearing. So I think they would like that also.
Absolutely.
So we'll find out.
And people out of town, people out of town can now, appeal.
Fly in, expense of flying in, hotel expense, yeah.
Oh yeah. I hadn't even thought about the out of towners. Yeah,
Sure, they'll love it.
Matter of fact, I'm going to start sending that conversation to Brian as we speak. He may get back and let me know.
Are you talking about doing it as an option, not as the rule?
Well, no, we're talking about really doing the in-person appeals as an option. And the base being the Zoom. I guess that's what we were talking about, right? The Zoom being the actual base.
Yes.
And then, okay. All right. I'm going to start a conversation with Brian now.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to number 7. Travis, I see you're here. Let's get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, I do.
State your name and position, please.
Hi, my name is Travis Westry, and I'm a tax appraiser for Durham County Tax Administration.
And have you heard anything from the property owner on this property?
No, this is actually one that we had to continue a couple of weeks ago because we could not download the pictures that they had sent in.
Right.
But I did let them know that the pictures that they did send, which I do believe is uploaded in Spaceless right now, the pictures that they did send, they didn't justify any reduction in the condition. It's just normal wear and tear. There was no kind of structural damage, any frame damage. It was just cosmetic things. I think they had a couple of scrapes and dents in the wood flooring, but that's about it.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board? Any discussion on number 7? Then I will entertain a motion on number 7.
Move that we accept the county's value.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Do you think we could scrounge up Andrea and get her to come in and handle her cases? Well, and I guess we got to wait for the people too. So that won't work. Okay. Well, we'll take another break till 11:30.
Do you want us to ask Amanda if the folk are even going to appear?
Yeah. Well, well, I will just wait because we'll be gone and have to come back.
Aaron's, that's the one I talked to yesterday, and the person that was presenting has been exposed to COVID, does not have COVID. And I let her know that she said he couldn't come in the office, and I told her that he didn't have to come in the office because it was a Zoom meeting. And also I let her know that they didn't give us 24-hour notice. So she said they would work on it. And I told her we would present the case with the information that we had if they didn't do it. And she said they would work on it. So I think they're going to try to be here. Somebody's going to try to be here.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, then let's come back at 11:30.
Ready.
Okay.
Hey, Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Can you turn your audio off?
Oh, me?
Yeah, we hear everything that happens when you leave.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, just turn your audio off. Yeah. Your video is fine, just the audio. Okay, that's good. Can't hear it. All right, thank you.
Jeanette, I was walking by your office the other day. You froze up. I can't hear you. You got to unmute. Jeanette, you got to unmute.
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm getting there.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
I hear you now. Yeah.
Stop by.
Well, how often are you all there?
Well, we're in and out. I mean, we just go in, wear a mask. I mean, I'm not staying at home.
What about the Pickett and Sprouse crew? Are they there much?
Yeah, they're in and out. Everybody's pretty much in and out, So we just wear a mask when we're around. If we're in our office, we don't wear a mask in our individual offices, but otherwise we wear a mask when we go to the copy or whatever. And
yeah,
we've been safe.
No, that's good. Well, I go for a walk every day. Well, every day I don't play golf anyway.
Oh, wow.
We cross over and go to Crowsdale Farms, and there's a pond, and we walk around that sometimes. But if it's really cold or rainy, we kind of do a shorter walk through that shopping center.
Right.
Sometimes we'll walk through the staff development center, and then they're right in front of your all's office.
Right. Yeah. I see people out there walking pretty regular, really.
Yeah.
But feel free to stop by.
Yeah, I might.
It's a nice building. It really is. They did a great job with the renovations.
Yeah, I remember it used to be with the Duke Urgent Care Center, right?
Exactly. Everybody said, I used to go to the doctor here.
Yeah.
The other place, everybody used to go to the chiropractor there. So
yeah. I've been in that new urgent care facility. That's nice there. But that Loman's Plaza, it really has changed, hasn't it? It's now all Duke or mostly Duke.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just ordered my primary care doctor from Fraser Street over there, and I thought, well, that's good. It's close.
Yeah. I get that light off my face. As I can. Okay, well, it's 11:30. Sheila, can you unmute Mr. Smith? It looks like he's here for
I believe he's for errands also.
Okay. Is he with errands?
I think so.
Okay. Mr. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
All right. First thing we need to do is get you sworn in, sir. If you raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
I do. State
your name, please.
It's George Smith. I'm an attorney with Nexon Pruitt in Raleigh and represent Aaron's Inc.
Okay. All right. We'll get back to you in a minute. We'll hear from the county and then come back. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Williams, let's get you sworn in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes.
State your name and position with the county, please.
Andrea Williams, Business Personal Property Supervisor.
All right. And we've got, looks like 2 cases here for errands. Is that correct?
That is correct. Well, 2 locations.
2 locations. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Well, what have you got?
So the taxpayer is appealing the assessments for tax year 2019 for both locations in Durham. The taxpayer submitted their 2019 listings for both locations, removing their rental equipment because they considered the property as inventory, which is exempted from taxation according to North Carolina General Statute 105-275. The county made a discovery on the property according to North Carolina General Statute 105-312. There is an appeal from another county with the same argument that was appealed to the Property Tax Commission, Court of Appeals, and North Carolina Supreme Court. Information shared from DOR about this case was that the Supreme Court sided with the Court of Appeals, stating that once taxpayers' property was in possession of a lessee pursuant to the terms of a lease purchase agreement, that property no longer constituted tax-exempt inventories pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 105-275, Section 34. Therefore, staff recommends that the total value for both locations of $899,273 remains on the tax receipts per North Carolina General Statute 105-312.
So these are items that are rented by Aaron's. Are they out in the community or are they there at the stores?
They are out in the community.
Okay. All right, Mr. Smith, what have you got for us?
A lot of that was true, and this is two different stores in Durham, but this is a separate argument under a different statute that we believe complies with the law and that Aaron's would not be considered the owner of this property. This is a situation where someone comes to Aaron's and they want to get a couch and they can't spend the full retail price on the couch. And so they make payments under a retail installment sale, which is an entirely different statute under Chapter 25A of the North Carolina General Statutes. And under the Machinery Act, such a sale under 105-306 is.
Mr. Smith, you froze up. I don't know if you can hear me. Mr. Smith? Well, give him a minute. Hopefully he'll come back.
He's going to have to sign back in. He's gone completely. He lost connection, so he'll be coming back.
Okay. Ms. Williams, do you have the total value of all these items?
Mr. Chair, I wanted to hear that number, that 99,320. I'm with you. I wanted to hear what the value was. Thank you.
Andrea, can you unmute and answer Mr. Smith?
Sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. So the total value on one account is $320,839. And on the other account is $578,434.
Right.
Could you repeat that for me, please?
Yes, ma'am. So the first account is $320,839. The other account is $578,434.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is for 2019?
Yes, sir.
What happens for 2020? Have they appealed that one?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Smith, looks like you're back, but you're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know where I left off.
The last thing we heard from you were citing something from the Machinery Act.
Okay, it's just a different statute that deals with business personal property, and we're not saying that it is exempt. That was a different argument that James is correct, that went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it's not exempt inventory. This is a separate business personal property statute that says Aaron's isn't the one who needs to be listing this for taxation, because there's a separate whole statutory scheme for this type of sale. It's called a retail installment sale. And our argument is under 105-306 that Aaron's is not the owner of this property. The person in possession of the couch under a retail installment sale is required to list that under the Machinery Act. And we have multiple other counties in which this argument has been presented, and we have yet to make this argument to the Property Tax Commission.
So did you say this is business property or is it personal? I mean, residential property?
It's personal property. Sorry, a lot of times in the Machinery Act, it describes business personal property, but it is personal property, residential property.
So is this a direct, is it rent to own or is it a direct purchase?
It is a retail installment sale in that you could pay 12 installments over a year. You could pay 24 installments over 2 years, or you can go into Aaron's and buy that couch flat outright in one price.
But it seems like I remember your ads were, or Aaron's ads were rent to own. So you rent it, and then if you want to later on, you can decide to buy it. So, I mean, are people getting this? Are they required to buy it, or is it an option?
It's an option.
So it is rented, and then at some point they can convert that to purchase.
Well, there's a specific statute that's called the Retail Installment Sales Act that governs these types of transactions. And pursuant to the language of that statute, that this is in fact a sale. And it's exactly what 105.306 contemplates in C2, where it says the vendee of personal property or under any other sale contract through which title to the property is retained by the vendor as security, that would be Aaron's, for the payment of the purchase price shall be considered the owner of the property if he has possession or the right to use the property. So it is the person who has the couch and is making the payments is the owner for the purposes of 105.306, and they need to be listing that couch as the owner.
You're saying that it's an installment sale, basically.
Correct.
It's basically a type of financing.
Correct.
So I have a question just so I can understand. So the inventory that particular person has is not renting. Is it renting to own, or did they buying in installment?
It's a separate type of sale under Chapter 25A. It's called a retail installment sale. It's kind of combinations of both. You do not have to own it. You can make 20 of 22 payments, and then you do not own it. So you don't have any interest. You're not building any equity in it through the payments. You have to make every payment.
Okay.
I don't know if that answers.
I don't know if that totally answered my question. I'm still not clear. I don't know if it's me, but if I come to you and want to rent a couch, and you said, okay, I'm renting the couch, am I buying it or am I renting it? Does it return back to you? Is that an option? You follow me? If I come and want to rent a bedroom set, okay, so I'm renting, but I don't own the bedroom set. I mean, do I rent it after a certain time frame? I have to return the bedroom set back to you, correct?
Not if you're making the payments.
Okay, if I don't make the payments, so basically what you're saying is that during the process of their renting it, you don't own it, they own it.
Well, it's a retail installment sale, and under the Machinery Act, in a situation where we hold title, but you have possession of the couch and you're making payments, you are the owner under 105.306C2. You're the owner of that. And Aaron's isn't a rental company. It's just a method of the sale that they use to enable more people to have home furnishings.
I understand it.
I think, I mean, just because I've got a little bit of experience of this with renting furniture. To me, the difference is if you rent furniture for, let's say, 24 months, so you might be making rental payments every month for 24 months, but at the end of the 24 months, that sofa will go back to where you rented it from. If you're doing the installment as a way to finance it, and you've got installments over 24 months, so you're paying every month an installment. At the end of the 24 months, you own the couch. Is that what we're talking about here?
That's correct. And with each payment, you're going to be paying sales tax on top of that. And when you have a rental situation, you're not paying that sales tax.
Okay, so to me, that's the difference of what happens at the end of the 24 months term. Should all those payments be made? It's basically a finance plan. It sounds like.
That's correct.
Is all of the furniture sold on the retail installment sales contract? Or
no, ma'am, but a large majority is. I think I want to say 70 or 80% is through the retail installment sales. And then I think 20 or 30% of people come in there and just buy flat out.
Do we, Ms. Williams, do we show that they are paying, you know, property taxes on the pieces of furniture that they do rent? Are we lumping all of that together?
The listing form does not show that, no.
Okay.
So we did, the previous case that Ms. Williams described did go from the property tax to the Court of Appeals to the Supreme Court, and they determined that all of the property that is on the floor is inventory,
right?
Because it is not out yet in the community. So that previously was not exempt under inventory, but now is.
Ms. Williams, have you seen a copy of a contract? I mean, I would like to see a copy of the contract and see exactly what it says.
I do not have a current copy in front of me, but the previous contract was a lease purchase agreement, which it provided for a month-to-month initial lease term and either monthly or semi-monthly renewal term.
Yeah, I remember that.
But
So
the
the
owner doesn't really own the property until he finished paying for it. Because so basically what you're saying is that you don't own it, they own it, but they haven't paid for it. And if they don't pay for it, it comes back to you. And so basically what you're trying to say is that as soon as it leaves the warehouse, they own it and you don't own it. So you don't have to pay taxes on it. They should be paying taxes on it. Basically.
Well, that's close, but I am saying that we still own it, but for the purposes of taxation under the Machinery Act, 105-306 states that the person who holds physical possession of that couch needs to be listing that and paying property taxes on it.
Well, if you still own it, you should still pay taxes on it. I mean, that just, I don't know. If you still own it.
Well, a lot of times with computer equipment that'll get leased, the property taxes on that personal business property gets paid for by the person in possession of that computer equipment and a lot of other office equipment.
Well, I had a copier years ago that I leased, and I did pay the taxes on it, but that was because that was stated in the lease that I was responsible for the taxes. I think that's the way most of those are set up. I don't know who is ultimately responsible. My question for you, Ms. Williams, is does it say it's a lease? I mean, what does it say in the paperwork?
I do not know what their current situation is, but in 2019, it was a lease purchase agreement with renewal terms with the option to purchase. There was a purchase option at the end of the lease.
So your testimony is that it was a lease with the option to purchase? Yes. Okay, Mr. Smith, do you disagree that that's what it was, or?
I don't know if it still says that, and a lot of people have harped on that point, but there's an entire statutory scheme that we were involved in drafting just for this industry called the Retail Installment Sales Act. And under that act, it specifically describes how these aren't, in fact, leases. They're sale contracts, installment contracts that are purchases. And it specifically says that it's not a lease, but it did say that in the old contract. I don't know if it still does, but it doesn't accurately describe the governing law of what these transactions really are, and that's that they're sales.
Well, I think we're dealing with the old contract because this is 2019. So is that, Ms. Williams, is that what you have, a contract from 2019?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So to my mind, if it says lease, it's a lease.
Yeah, I think we've heard, I think we think the first time they've been before us, Dave, I remember this distinctly before. The whole thing is, well, who takes ownership at what point and what time. And I'm sort of leaning with the county. I do think if that's, it's a little, some court's gonna have to decide that, I think, beyond what this board is gonna say, because, you know, my opinion is that I'm favoring the county until that needs to be settled in the courtroom, I believe.
Well, I would imagine one side or the other is going to appeal this.
Yeah.
But we need to make our decision. And
Chair, I had a question for him.
Go ahead.
No, I just had a question for Ms. Williams. Well, actually, Mr. Smith, rather. Does a return for non-payment constitute a relinquishment by the property owner who has that sofa couch in hand? And does that come into inventory for an errand where now it would qualify for business tax? And the other part of that, do you take depreciation on that when you get one back into inventory? Because that would affect your taxable, the value of your inventory and what you're taxed on, because it's no longer new. So if you get it back for non-payment, does it constitute a relinquishment by the person who's under the lease option contract under the Retail Installment Sales Act? And when you get it back in the inventory on hand, does it now qualify for business tax, but at what rate inventory, because it's not new again? So that's the three parts of my question, and it's very germane to this. I would wonder under the Machine Act, under that section C2 of 106-300. I'm sorry, 105-306.
To answer your question, I'll take it piece by piece. Well, first of all, the 105-306 C2 has never been tested by a court. So we don't know how that would work. But as I understand it, it would be relinquished. And we've believed that when it would come back to Aaron's, now based on the other case law, it would be exempt as inventory if it was on the floor, which would be depreciated. And then if it went, their goal is to get it back out. So to get it sold or either get it back under another retail installment sale. And then we believe when it would be under that, it would also have to be listed by the new owner.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Mr. Smith?
No, I appreciate your time again. You always are very respectful in listening to this argument. I don't think this has been tried since I came here last year. We still have yet to get a hearing on this at the Property Tax Commission. So this is in a number of counties. So thank you for your time.
Okay. Ms. Williams, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
Yes, I just want to remind that we are dealing in this particular case with a lease purchase agreement, and the courts have already decided that the transfer of a lease purchase agreement is not properly categorized as a sale, and therefore the property held thereunder does not fall within the class of exempt inventories.
Okay. Any further questions or discussions from the board? I tend to agree with Mr. Williams. I think it's a lease and that the company is responsible for the taxes. And like I said, it will be appealed, I'm sure.
They still hold title.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion on numbers 8 and 9.
I move that we uphold the county position.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Smith, and we'll be curious to see how this is, how it ends up.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Okay, Sheila, do we have anybody for number 10?
No, nobody's here.
Okay, all right, well, let's move on to that. Ms. Williams, what's this one about? You're muted, Ms. Williams.
Sorry. The taxpayer is asking for a waiver of penalties in the amount of $324.07, stating the reason for filing late was because of illness within the taxpayer's family. He greatly apologizes. The penalties were applied because the taxpayer listed for the first time both their 2018 and 2019 tax returns on June 27, 2019. However, they started business in Durham County on February 24, 2017. Staff recommends that the total penalties of $324.07 remain on the tax receipts per North Carolina General Statute 105-312H.
Well, what can you tell us about this business?
They are a bar. They've been in business since 2017. They have paid on their accounts, but have not paid all of it. They did file timely this past year, 2020.
So they're just a small bar. It's not like
Yes.
it's a chain or anything.
Right.
All right. What's the pleasure of the board? You know, normally in these cases, we're, you know, reduce it some to 50%. You all think that's appropriate? I wish they'd have showed up, but you know, they made good faith once they found out. Is that correct, Ms. Williams?
That is correct.
And they've listed everything and, okay.
Okay.
Tony, can't hear you.
I'd be okay with a 50% reduction.
Okay.
I would too.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion on number 10.
So moved.
David Williams.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, anybody here yet for number 11?
No.
And they're coming in 8 minutes, hopefully. George, have you heard anything from the applicant on this one?
I have not heard from the applicant on this one.
Okay. All right, well, let's take a break and come back at 12 o'clock.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
I was trying to get in there and I couldn't find my Zoom screen. I was trying to also send you all a copy of the general statute, the 105306, but I was just trying to incorporate it into the Zoom meeting, and I'm just figuring out how to do that my first time. All right, and so, but on the other part is A and W, they have an appeal with the PTC from the previous year, and we're not certain that they're going to show up. Because they're waiting to try to solve, let that case go through. So that may be a little information that you all can have, and that's probably why George hasn't heard anything from them and like that.
But you don't know for sure they're not going to show up, is that correct?
I think we had a case with them for the PTC. No, what year was that? Oh, when this.
2009, yeah. It was decided by this board to maintain $58,319,672 as of October last year. So, and that's not been heard.
Okay. Well, I feel more comfortable. It's only 6 minutes.
Right.
Let's give them time to show up, and we'll give them an additional 5 minutes. And if they don't, you know, we'll hear it at that level. You know, we'll hear what we've got. Okay.
Yeah, that was just so you can have some background. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you all come back at noon. Okay. Okay, Sheila, I guess nobody's waiting, are they?
Nope, nobody's waiting.
Well, let's go ahead and go. George, if you'll come back, please. Get you sworn in. If you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
State your name and position, please.
George Van, commercial tax appraiser with Durham County.
And you've had no recent contact with the property owners for this property?
I have not.
And so you don't expect them to appear?
I have no expectation whether they would come or not. I'm not trying to lean you in that regard. But I suppose as has been your practice, you might want to hold for another couple of minutes, but I have no expectation of whether they're coming or not.
And you say they appeal. What year is this that they're appealing, right, for this one?
Well, they put what I would call a placeholder on 2020. They had appealed 2019, which was heard by this board, and have notes from Ryan Vincent, who did the presentation, and you held that the county was correct in holding the value at $58,319,672. It was appealed to the PTC, and there's been no response back from that.
Okay, so this is the 2020 tax year, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so whatever happens at the PTC will affect this value?
Yes, it would.
And so we really need to wait until the PTC so you know, whatever that comes back is, it'll change this or not change it.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure we need really any further presentation from you, but we'll give them a few more minutes in case they do show up.
Is the PTC are they hearing cases? Or, I mean, why? I mean, how far behind are they? I'm just curious. Does anybody know?
Starling, you got any?
Well, we are holding this week. I mean, next week we were to hold pre-conference hearings for the items that were to be heard by the PTC in January of 21. So I don't know how far behind they are, but we are hearing some of the residential cases from as far as the 20th, December 2020, we've heard those pre-conference hearings. So the January 21 cases, which were all commercial cases, were withdrawn. So I do not know where we are next in getting to the AW hearing, because we have not gotten any information from them. So we really don't know where it is on the docket for them.
So, but is it on the docket? Is it in process to the PTC?
Oh, yes, they filed their PTC complaint. Yes. Yeah, it's just a matter of when the PTC sets up their hearing date.
All right. Okay, well, it's 12:05. Sheila, I take it they haven't signed in.
No, sir, nobody's checked in.
All right. Well, any questions from the board on number 11? Any comments? Then I will entertain a motion on number 11.
Number 11, I move we accept the county's value as presented, subject to the appeal by the property owner.
Have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, I guess that takes care of it. Is there anything else, Starling, that you need to tell us? Or
Yes, I sent you all a email, or that would be an email. Okay, anyway, I sent you all an email concerning the virtual hearing format of Zoom. And Brian says, yes, we can do that. He said we may have to do a little bit more changing on the format of it, but that it is allowed under the general statutes to be used even during a non-emergency declaration. So, yes.
I'm glad.
And he said that a hybrid system would probably be good for the tax office in that it would serve both the case as Ms. Tanya was saying, that it would be good for the people out of town, but it would also be good for the Durham people also. In that they would no longer have to travel and can just hold those meetings. Also, he was certainly in favor of setting it up so that it can be used. And I told him that we could, on the application, put in a way for them to choose which format, and we could have that hybrid. We could set everybody up on whatever day. We could set up the ones that needed to meet in person, and all the rest of them we can carry on like we are.
Yeah, great. That sounds great. Okay, well, I just want to thank everybody. I think we've had a good board, and we've done things really well. Thank the board members, also staff. Staff has done a good job, especially Tim, and especially Sheila, who had this dumped on her at the last minute. You did a great job. You know, I know it was hard for you, but we appreciate it.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Yeah.
And you all have a Merry Christmas, and we'll hear from you whenever I guess we're needed.
Oh, one last thing. We have those two that needed to appear in person, and so this board will not adjourn. I guess you're going to have to send us to recess or whatever, so that we will be able to hear those two cases when we are allowed to.
So do we need some sort of action from this board to keep it open?
I don't think so. We just don't need to adjourn. You can just do like we normally do until we have our next meeting.
Okay.
All right, that sounds fine.
Okay.
All right, everybody.
All right. Happy holidays, everybody.
All right.
Thanks,